What's going on, y'all? This is Leland Da Vinci. Welcome to the channel. I absolutely have no direction for this video that I'm doing right now, but I imagine at some point during the video I'll explain why that is. You know, I've been going through a lot lately, a lot of questioning, and as far as I can tell, a lot of the questions that I have start from like a general outlook, and then they end up becoming something more specific. And one of the things that I ended up thinking about was, music, and what music has and what it was for me. Most of you guys are aware of this, but I started music, like actually working towards music, back in 2003. My stepdad got orders to move to Germany, and I can't remember how old I was then. I can't even remember. I'm 32 now, so just kind of use that as I'm explaining all of this. But 2003, I ended up meeting somebody named Jeffrey at a youth center. This is kind of like a community for like kids and stuff. And he was literally on the computer making music. And I can't explain to you like how that felt to me, because when you always heard of music, you always thought about like big studios or giant bands and shit like that. But to see him on the computer making beats with a mouse and a keyboard, this was on FL 3.5. To see that, I was in awe, and I was like, yo, teach me, please teach me. And that's when that journey started. And ever since then, I've for the most part just been kind of on the run with it. But as you get older, and I imagine this is going to happen to each and every one of you guys as well, when you get older, you start to ask yourself the big questions. Like the big questions. Like for me, it started from why are humans even here? Like that's how broad the scope was when it first started, and just kind of trickled down into something very specific about music, in terms of what happened to that love and that passion that I had for it back then, or even a few years ago. I still like music now, but I'd be remiss if I sat here and told you that how I felt then about music versus how I feel now about music are equal, because they're not even equal. And I don't know if that's because over time I just kind of got used to it, and maybe getting used to something might be synonymous to becoming boring. I don't know. Or if it's the fact that, like I said, as you get older, you start to have major life questions, and then that led to passions and goals and things like that, and why it is that is the narrative for the dream, like, and why is it that we have to necessarily have goals and have passions to, number one, feel successful or to enjoy life. And I've been on this teeter-totter of like goals or no goals, and it's really confusing, because when you've done something for so long and shit like this happens where now you're unsure, it's like, dang, I wasted a lot of time. Or did I waste a lot of time? It was just a matter of perspective at this point. now when I make beats, it's like I enjoy it, but like I said, it's not the same. It feels like a task now, almost like a burden. I wouldn't say complete like a burden, but almost like a burden. So it's like on this hand you have goals and passions, and then on this side it's like, the absurdity of life, even as it is anyways. Maybe life isn't this big, mysterious, meaningful thing that we try to say that it is. Of course, everyone's entitled to their, opinion, but the fact is that at one point, all these things that we're trying to build, like the legacies and all that stuff, at one point, it's all gonna go away. Like, there's an ending to everything, So, and now I've been on this, I wouldn't say spiritual journey, but because I believe in God, and I still wonder about, what if life isn't that complicated? What if it's just really not that complicated, I wouldn't say a bunch of random events, but what if it's you're conceived, you're born, you work, you live, and then you pass on, you go to heaven. There's 7 billion people on the earth, right? And I know that not everyone has passions, not everyone has goals. And I don't know if that's because it's not innate to us or it's not programmed to us. I don't know. So now, I'm in this stage in life where I'm trying to decide how I feel about goals and passions to begin with. And even more so, even if having goals and passions is worth the time. Like, I can't explain to you. I mean, there are people out there who understand what I'm saying. It's like, it's not meant to make life sound morbid. And I think when you take a minute to look at how absurd it is anyways, by default, the absurdity makes it not that morbid anyways, It gives you a chance to really enjoy the things that you have, like, already, like the things that you've already achieved. And, considering that there are so many people out there who have talents who are not celebrated. And there's so many people who we put on pedestals who I don't think are that talented, but they're celebrated. And that makes me wonder, okay, is it really a random set of events? Not in a coveting type of way, because I don't want anything that anyone else has. But it's like, you have this person who is okay, you have this person who's really good, and this person that's okay seemingly has more opportunities, is doing better than this person who would seem like they would have the same opportunities, if not more. So here I am, mental note-taking and just journaling, how I feel. And this is not to encourage anyone else, but I don't know if y'all have ever taken the time to think about these things. It's like, are you making music? I don't know if you've taken the time to think about these things, but like, Are you making music because you want something out of it? Like, is music a means to an end? Like, is music a means to an end? Or like what is it? Like, what do you guys have to say about it? Like, what do you guys think? It's just that when you get to a certain point in life and you start to ask yourself the obvious existential questions that we all have at some point, some way or another, you're gonna ask yourself these questions. I guarantee you, if you haven't already done so. But you know, it can be sad sometimes. Like, it can be sad, you know, almost depressing. Not really morbid, because it's only morbid because we've been conditioned to think one way. And that's what I don't agree with. I don't agree with being conditioned to only think one way. That's work hard every fucking day of your life, become wealthy, you know, have kids, big house, nice cars. Like, no, that's not what everybody wants, you know. And that's not what everybody would consider a good life. You know, I don't think that automatically means a good life at all. Because you can have all that shit. You can have every fucking thing in the world and still be miserable. As sad as it is, we're not gonna sit here and act like we haven't seen really wealthy, successful people, you know, take their own lives. That's why I keep saying that to be conditioned for so long that is the answer, like that's gonna make you feel good, it's a lie. It is a lie. And I've been reading this book called Flow. I think he's a Swedish psychologist. And, you know, man, he goes through everything that I'm saying right now. You know, basically that optimal experience is the present moment. But not only the present moment, but it's when you're doing something that just takes your mind off of everything else. And music used to be that thing for me. But now music is a stone throw. Like, it just depends. And now I'm trying to find out what that other thing could be. Oh, and to reiterate back what I was saying about planning, I take in a lot of information from different people, and one of the people that I really enjoy reading and listening to is Bruce Lee. And one of the things that he says, and I'm paraphrasing, but one of the things that he said was he doesn't make plans, right? He doesn't like a rigid lifestyle. Like, he wants to be able to kind of ebb and flow with the way that life carries itself, you know? So he doesn't make plans that often because he wants to be able to just kind of follow the nature of things. So that's why at the beginning of the video I said I didn't plan on it, but at some point I would mention, you know, why I said that. But nevertheless, this is just a short little video of me kind of expressing my thoughts, kind of what I'm going through, and hopefully in some form or fashion, you know, I know this wasn't specifically a video about encouragement or motivation or anything like that, but I hope that me bringing this up to you, whoever's watching, allows you to take 2 minutes out of your day to ask yourself the big questions for yourself. Like, the big questions for yourself, you know. It's, like I said, 7 billion people in the world. It's hard to worry about everybody else. So ask yourself the big questions. Ask yourself if you're doing this because you enjoy it, or you're doing it because you're using it as a tool or a means to an end, I can tell you that if you're using it for the former, you're gonna be probably a lot more well off, a lot more happier, as opposed to the latter. Your reliance, you're relinquishing your ability to make that decision for yourself because it's somewhere else. You know, it's not in the process. It's solely built in the result. So, like I said, I know this wasn't necessarily a encouraging or a motivational video or anything like that, but I hope that me talking about these things kind of opens up, you know, your mind to questions for yourself, you know. So that's pretty much the video. Just wrap it up. Let me guys know what you guys think. If you guys have had any thoughts about this at all, or you know, anything, I will definitely respond to everybody, because that will give me the opportunity to encourage and hopefully be a beacon of light somewhere to someone. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and as always, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you so choose, but I will see you guys again some other time. Love y'all. Peace.